In this video, we're going to talk about how you can extend the grip on your Polespear. The tools needed for this job are a knife, wire cutters, pliers will probably come in handy, as will a lighter, and also a heat gun, but that will be part 2 of this video. The materials needed for this job are simply a piece of copper wire or dyneema or something to form the coil. I personally love using copper wire for this. And we'll need some electrical tape to hold things in place and your heat shrink tube to seal things up. So you may want to extend the grip on your Polespear if you're finding that when you load, your hand is at the top of the shaft and there's not quite enough tension in the band yet. So you're finding that you're sliding your hand onto the bare shaft to get that final bit of tension out of your band. If you're having this problem, it could be that you're actually using too big of a band, like in this case, but I just want to demonstrate what I mean, why you may want to use an extension on your grip. The other reason why you could be having this problem is that your rear end of your shaft is too short. Like also in this case, normally I use this band with this rear end, which is actually another 1.5 feet longer. So make sure that you check those two things before you go crazy and add an extension on your grip. Take your razor knife and you cut away from yourself. So using the bare wire versus the coated wire, the bare wire will allow you to have a more narrow grip, which might be nice if you're not planning on using thick gloves. I'm always diving in cold water and I'm always wearing about 5 or 7 millimeter gloves, so I actually prefer to use the thicker diameter. We're just going to tape the one end in place, just using some electrical tape. Other tape will work fine too. And now you have the option to make a narrow grip or you have the option to make a wider grip. And once again, because I'm wearing thick gloves, I'm going to be using a bit more of a wide grip and just coil it, coil it, coil it as long as you want and chop off the tail end. This gives me the option to make as narrow of a grip as I want or as wide of a grip as I want. I can just pull it to whatever setting I prefer. One other thing you want to do is you want to make sure that your grip is going the right way, whichever way you prefer. Some people prefer the grip to go clockwise, others prefer counterclockwise. In my case, this is how I like it and it matches the rest of my grip. Okay, we're ready to tape. So we want to make sure that the tape is going on there nice and tight so that it's securing everything in place. You don't have to put tape over the entire wire. I personally just prefer it. That way everything is for sure secured in place, because heat shrink tubing is going to go over top of all of this anyways and seal things up and keep things nice and snug. So it's not too critical. Don't worry if this looks a little bit ugly. Once again, the exact same thing you could be doing with spectra or dyneema or sort of anything else really, even any small string or cord. Just make sure that it's the diameter that you prefer. Copper wire is just really easy for me to do this and I really like the grip that it forms. Rip off the end. I'll just show you what it looks like with the bare copper wire also. More thin diameter. So in the same way, make sure that you're going clockwise or counterclockwise, whichever way you prefer your grip, and stop to wherever you want your grip to end and just cut off the tail end. And you can secure things in place. If you want, you can even just tape on the end, but I prefer to make sure that everything's all in place by just running the tape quickly over everything. Make sure that tape is going on nice and tight. So you can see the difference in the thickness between the coated wire and the bare ground wire. We're going to be covering all of this up with heat shrink tubing in part 2 of this video. So then you can see how the final product looks once everything's all sealed up.